Hello and welcome back to Disco of Elysium. It's me, well, Disco Elysium actually, it's me, David, and I'm about to talk to Mr. Manana, who not only speaks the cook's language, but also apparently has something else going on with him, and then I'll carry on with my investigation from there.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Everard said you have a key to a door. A key, huh? He runs his fingers through his moustache. What door is this key supposed to open? I don't know, some whistleblowers, I think. Oh, say no more. I got you. He taps side of his nose with a little wink. I got that key right here, and let me tell you, it's mighty good of you to help us out during the strike. Working class solidarity, as they say. I'm not really doing this for political reasons. Oh, so the none of the above type, are you? I get it, I get it. I like to keep my distance too, he nods. But it doesn't matter, it's a good thing you're doing, thanks. What you're looking for is a basement door behind the greenhouse. That's behind the whirling in rags, that's all I know. Our organisation is what you call compartmentalised. Means we keep out of each other's business. Okay, but where did you get the key from? The janitor gave it to me. Nice fella. We talked about life and things that really, truly matter. His gaze wanders off into the distance. None of this mess we're in, this jive and juggling. What's it for? He doesn't wait for your answer. To feed our children, I guess. Anything else I should know about this task? Got this weasel person when he'll come home. When he'll be home. He shakes his head. I'm more of a philosophical dock worker. I like to talk about the big picture stuff. Who I am. Who you are. What we are fighting for. The man takes a big sip from his flask. He means he's not going to tell you because he doesn't know. But we will shoot mouth with you now. But he will shoot mouth with you now that you're working with Everard. Who he is and what they're fighting for, this is. Good talking to you, gotta run. Well, apparently I can't talk to him about the language, but that's a shame. But also, that janitor may be a lead to... oh, hello. What's this? Oh, hold on a second. What is that? I saw something new. Hello. You're new. I mean, I'll take it. But it was new. I guess money just kind of appears. Well, let's just speed this up. So I'm going to go back to the... Well, not the whirling in rags. I mean, I'm running low on time here, and Kitsuragi can't stay out all night. I'm sure he'll get exhausted eventually. I know for a fact that I need to go in there and check out the booth. But no harm in... it's doing a bit of loading there. No harm in taking the long way around. And seeing if I can't... have a quick nab on that project. And once I've had a look in there, I should be able to... Good lord, the loading is really, really something today. I guess it's got to render all this lovely artwork. Oh, and of course that tree's now fallen down. I guess he just wrenched it by the leg. I might as well get this done. This must be it. The basement door is weather worn. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and there's a knocker shaped like a lion's head. The royal lion. Willarm's kitten. This knocker will last a lifetime and then some. Press your ear against the door. The leather upholstery is worn and rough against your jaw, but you don't hear any movement. In fact, it's oddly silent in the yard around you. No birds chirp. Use Manana's key to unlock the door. You try to be as silent as you can. It takes a bit of rattling of the handle to loosen the bolt. Finally, the door unlocks a small clack, though its thoughts race through your head. There might be important information in the apartment. I mean, there might. As you hold the open door, you can feel the air moving. A little draft, a whistle. Oh. I mean, it's worth having a look, because there might be a route into that arcade. I also might get caught in here. Fine. A small suitcase full of clothes. Guests are staying over? A book titled The Hidden World of Walking Sticks lies open. You can almost feel the warmth of the red sun on the flag. This is the flag of Revachol. This is Arenti. What's with the sun? This isn't just one sun, but there are little suns dancing around the big sun. This is the sevenfold sun miracle. What is the sevenfold sun miracle? It's an optical atmospheric anomaly the first settlers saw. Happens in cold weather, 6 small suns around the big one. This complex holo phenomena is how old Revachol got its flag. Lieutenant, the old flag of the suzerain. He looks around the apartment. The tenant is an old-fashioned guy. By old-fashioned, he means very right-wing. Don't bow down to the flag. The flag doesn't seem to mind. It's just a colourful fabric with a sun sewn into it. Like all feudal flags, it looks like a children's drawing. Wow, salty much? Okay. They're not all that bad. Whoever lives here admires fair-haired fancy heroes with big muscles. Yes, well, I mean, who wouldn't? Yeah, fine. A row of mugs sits on the shelf. Each one depicts a human figure, a dark-skinned woman grinning at mysterious symbols, a broad-shouldered man shoveling potatoes, and others. I think I know whose mugs these are. Tap on the mugs. A little ring. Though cheerful, the images on the ceramic make you vaguely uncomfortable. There's something disdainful in the way the curves and lines of the bodies were drawn. What do I mean, uncomfortable? It looks like the artist is celebrating diversity, but underneath he's just making fun of these people. I don't think I like the owner of this apartment. No one's telling you to like him. You might learn something from him, though. The lieutenant picks up one of the mugs and puts it back down with a look of disdain. I'm beginning to feel better about breaking into this man's apartment. Whip out your yellow man mug and compare. Yes, your broken mug friend would feel very much at home here. The same humour, the same mocking lines. There's the missing tin soldier. The lieutenant looks at the mugs next to each other. Whoever lives here might have used the willing containers to dump his trash. And now they've drawn the eye of the Union. The plot thickens, as they say. An interesting little clue. Let's see where this goes. Clues have a way of magically connecting to other clues down the road. Perhaps you should break into apartments more often. No, that's not what he said. Move on from the mugs. It's super interesting. So we've got a lead at least.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages yet. You should take care of that then. But I don't have the money. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the streets. We'll figure something out. I might play another run of this, but being a raging alcoholic. Because that could be fun. I mean, I'll sort out the body tomorrow. Let's just quickly just check on this. Yeah, I guess I should. Negotiation will occur. Oh, we have a lead. I wonder if Everard wants to punish this man for Potentially manipulating with the body. Wouldn't that be interesting? That would be interesting, I think. I don't really want to buff my logic any further. I have a horrible feeling that my logic is going to cause me trouble if I keep going. Although, that's conceptualization. No, let's over that one. The wife beater makes me better at punching people. Great. We can do with the body tomorrow. The cook's gone. So I'll talk to him tomorrow. Whilst he's making soup, I guess. Excuse me. Oh dear. He arches an eyebrow. So about the money I owe you. Yes, have you got it? I was wondering if we could come to some kind of arrangement for tonight. Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me? Kim is about to say something. Let him. He adjusts his glasses. I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business. Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking and... He stops mid-sentence. I mean no offence, it's really nothing personal, I just have to protect the interests of the establishment. That's really not threatening him as the solution here. This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it? Not until you bring me the money. Okay, he turns to you with a heavy sigh. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here. Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Well, that's unfortunate. What was that booth? Find out who is in the union box. Guard has told some unruly union men gather in the mess hall of the Whirling in Rags. They're not there today, but most likely they'll eventually show up. Alright, of course that's not today. Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, the room can't be used yet until... Well, I need to pay him. This is unfortunate. I was hoping maybe he'd be a reasonable gentleman. Inside you see a set of steering levers and all the rest. I have something here we could sell. Look in the back in the suspect's transport enclosure. Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. Look in the transport enclosure. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. The silver edges sparkle in the dark. I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal. What do you mean you confiscated them? A couple weeks ago I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high. So you took his spinners? Mm-hmm, he nods. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence. Isn't that corruption? I don't know, is it? The lieutenant looks back, stone-faced. I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked them back. What are those things? They're spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, he makes a spinning motion with his hands. The caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity. Do you want to put these spinners on your machine? No, that would be silly. He hesitates. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners, that would just be outrageous. Just nod. The spinners shine so brightly they reflect on the lieutenant's glasses. He doesn't say anything either. Sorry, I couldn't take them. It wouldn't be right. Alright, let's not take them now. Then come back once we realise we have to have this conversation again and then take them. Sounds likely.
Yes?
Well, I mean, I have some items. Maybe I can move these on. Oh wait, hold on a second. I just realised that woman's like a behavioural specialist, right? So maybe she might know about tattoos. What a curious thought. What is your profession again?
Hello again, sweetie.
A cryptozoologist. Oh, gotta get going now. This guy's just sitting there. This chap might know about tattoos. Perhaps he's on his way to where you just came from. I don't want his pills. He's not going to speak to me again. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I guess Kim will leave eventually off his own accord. So let's go look at the body.
Show before a kid came by, completely fucked a tree to pieces.
He fucked the tree up. Fucked it good. It was porno. Yeah, okay. Wish I could have been here to see it. Now I have some questions. Okay, I'm off. Yep, that's fine. The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side. Well, it's down. Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. The lieutenant nods approvingly. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy. A field autopsy? Yes. He covers his nose and lists 1. Investigation of the scene, 2. Initial examination of the victim, 3. Field autopsy, 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We're on number 3. The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual. The fuck are they on about? Cop's gonna cut his shit up. Got it. Lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath. Tell me something, dead man. Enough. Try to remove the dead man's boots. I thought we decided to leave it to processing. The lieutenant shakes his head. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus. Okay, so you can sneak out of the room, of your room maybe after he's gone to sleep. First, what exactly is a field autopsy? Come on, officer. He pulls on a pair of latex gloves. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. What you do know is at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano Copus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single Et Puis Descend to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea. Do you have another pair of gloves? Unfortunately, no. Okay, I'll take it like a man. Unhygienically? I need a pair then. Can we return to this shortly? We have glove hunting to do. Let's not go glove hunting, please. Let's use division of labour. I perform the anatomical side while you take notes. We just filled this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right, he nods. Good. Open ledger at the field autopsy form. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11 field info form needs filing. I am sorry. I have had a long day. Above those, an 11 field info form needs filling out first. It begins with begin. 1. Assistant. That's you, right, Harry Dubois. Hey, at least I know that. The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. Just lie there. The next box says coroner's case number. KK570803.0815. Write it down. Next, name. Non-applicable. Next, date of birth. Non-applicable. Age. The man corrects his glasses. Roughly 50. Try 40. The damage is so extensive it's better to err on the young side. I trust my visual calculus, so I'm going to write 42. He nods. Race. Mondial. Fair to olive skin from the Isle of Mundy. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. Write it down. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other. Sex. Fucky fucky, the little monster explains energetically. Male. Pig's gonna have sex. Right, male. Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face. Date of death. We're still going with March 4th, 51. Ah, it's a European style. What else? He looks over your shoulder. 9. Body is identified by is not applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case. KK5705030815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only 1 box remains. Evidence of treatment. None, at least not after the initial examination. What exactly is treatment anyway? Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem? I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over? They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dock workers. He placed his hand on the dead man's chest as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the station of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform, then... Somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosenkrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Outside, Grand Couronne. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Torson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead, more than anything else. The building is tall, 7 stories, wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied. This was a suicide. The other, an accident, the small one. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath. We should start the post-mortem. Turn the page. The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why. 1. External examination. 3. Description of injury should come first. It's numbered 3, but you can do it now. I'm afraid we can't continue before we've gone through both external and internal examination first, thoroughly. Fine, so I guess there are internal injuries. My error. External examination. Summary. Clothes, he begins. The deceased wears armoured boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babradine, I think. Let's see. He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label. It's happening. Barbadine, yes, inexpensive. Size, medium. Colour, white. The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid. Write it down. The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armour. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing. It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire, if you are to keep them for yourself as you ought to. You have deserved them more than anyone else. I don't want to... No, write it down. I'm being a good cop. The boot has a serial number. He twists the dead man's foot. It's E501001001000. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Write it down. Tattoos. He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body. The upper torso is covered in a single continuous tattoo resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a colour photograph of the markings, to be added to the case file as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Colour yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. He produces a measuring tape. Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. He kneels in to get a better look. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back short. Write it down. Short light brown male pattern baldness. Lividity is consistent with hanging, albeit faint as noted. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity. Fucking low velocity. The kid exploded. Do you think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity. The lieutenant pays no heed. In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp and chest consistent with predation. Write down. Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. The steel wiring, he concedes, breathless. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark. You got just the right tool for that, chain cutters. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Always good to think ahead. Now, he points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck. We need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can. My pig is going to fuck himself. No, he ain't. Sequels blase, your pig's a boring fuck. Look for a good spot to cut. The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the yeast. I can't. I mean, it's a red test, so if I screw this up, I screw this up. I don't really want to screw this up. It cannot be retried. I could up my physical instrument to give myself a better chance. But I think that's maybe a waste of a skill point. But I don't really want to fail this. And I'm wearing the wrong clothes. Not that I can change that now. At least this gives me an above 50% chance. So I suppose we can try it. Well, I'm really glad that I did that modification. Otherwise that might have been a bit tight. After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot, tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow. Press down. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it. The lieutenant kneels closer, running his finger along the dark red groove until there's a gap. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact. He presses down on it. Normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia. He pulls down the man's underpants. Now it's going to happen, see. I fucking knew it. Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury. Write it down and move on. Back is symmetrical and intact. He struggles to turn the corpse on his side. Upper and lower extremities are intact but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating, especially the hip. Before you is a temple of pain that knew little tenderness in life. In addition, I see smaller residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin. From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty. Last item, hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Let the lieutenant work alone. Hands are clean, he inspects the wrist. No sign of recent struggle. Were we expecting any? I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, the stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Write it down. Whoa, he turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Internal examination. Central nervous system, he says, and then concludes abruptly. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system? Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to the story. No. Write NA. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. He gets close to the swollen mouth hole, eyes squinting from the fumes. Not injury related, eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone, let's see. With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. Yeah, jack that fucker off. The hyoid bone is fractured, he says after a while. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact, unremarkable. Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. Respiratory system. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received a dental implant, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucus of the lips and mouth. Look inside the dead man's mouth. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in the mouth of his. No, you don't. You can keep it in. You can keep anything in. Look deeper inside. You manage to suppress the contractions trying to empty your stomach. All it takes is concentration. Through it, you see nothing but darkness, more meat and darkness. There are ancient mysteries down there. Kobo, ask me later. The lieutenant lets go of the jaws. The mouth snaps shut before you, hemorrhaging present in mucus, he repeats impatiently. Write it down. He wipes his brow. Hepatobiliary, non-applicable. Why, don't we have anything? He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. Are you a hepatobiliary expert? Write NA. Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Both? Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there. No. But do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do. Like a toxicology screening, he looks at the monster. At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine, but still you should add a request. Brimming with cocaine. Write NA and add toxicology request. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with a hanging. Gastrointestinal. He breathed another sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there. This will do. Then he touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly and says, digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. Write it down, omit the voila. What's next on the list? Description of injuries now that we've fully examined the body. Let's see, he tilts his head. We have bite marks, contusions on head and chest. Add a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields, leave a 4th one too. What's the 4th injury field for? Nothing, just in case. Turn the page back. Tell me something, dead man. At the autopsy you said you have ancient mysteries. Oh yes, Kobo. Me Lobo. In the gift horse's mouth, tracts and wakes and waterways, ancient materials buried. Yeah, but to where, brother? Just a small gulp away, my beloved hobo. A small gulp away. Alright. Okay, that was a description of injuries. 1. Bite marks. He nods. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? Beneath the description there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. B. Non-fatal post-mortem. Agreed. Next injury. Contusions. So the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem. A maximum velocity. Fucko. Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity. Write it down. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest. Where the countless stones have hit the dead man, beneath the description of injury 2 boxes. Non-fatal post-mortem. Right, next. Ligature marks. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck. Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side, awaiting your judgment. The ring around his neck is visible. I think he was killed and then hung. Non-fatal post-mortem. The lieutenant falls silent abruptly. Why do you say that? He tilts his head. I'm serious, I don't think this was the injury that killed him. Okay, why don't you think it was fatal? There's 2 points. The lividity did not convince me, and he knows that. Why weren't his hands tied? Why weren't his hands tied? A big man like him, I would tie his hands when marching him to the gallows. Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me, the stench. He covers his mouth, but you're right. I was ready to call this, now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Good. He produced a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce the field autopsy over. First, how did it go? It was he looks for the right words, an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy, but personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested toxicology screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks if we're lucky. I would not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy. Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink is in order. What now? I need a copy of the autopsy form, then I will drive him to Feilborg. Rip out a copy. For processing, he looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hands, and at the corpse again. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something. Stop wasting time. Really? You're going to penalise me for being smart? This is the white check. You may retry it. You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. Look under his fingernails like Kim already did. They've turned dark. They're chipped and quite long. There is dirt under them, that's all. Do you think we missed something? You can't shake the feeling that there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you. Yes, there's something we're not seeing. Okay, well, we're in livor mortis here. He's disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination. We need to do it fast. Okay, where do we find a fridge for the body? I would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Welling and Rags and the Fritz store down the gates. If they don't know, his voice trails off and his gaze settles on Kuno, but only if all else fails. Fuck you looking at, Binno man. You want a piece of the Kuno, want to get fucked. Only if all else fails, he stresses. Kuno looks like he gets around, knows Martinet, and it's fridges too, probably. I need to take another look at the body first. We can't sideline this task. With every hour, whatever we're looking for will become harder to find. I have a skill up, and I really want to give this another go and see if I can avoid having to take this through to... My perception caps out of 5? Yes, let's leave this for now. I think I have some stuff that can increase my perception. Or at least not decrease it. Maybe I'm wrong. The lieutenant adjusts his glass and takes a deep breath. Oh, yes, baby. Your arm reaches out and your eyes close as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand. What is this? His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent. Put your fingers in his mouth. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. You're on the right track. Play with it, this feels right. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding, hard poles of bone in the gums. And in the back of the mouth... Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open and look in. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing, death fumes rising from the throat. And there in the back of the mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished, no larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius. The edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after. Say abrasion collar. Abrasion collar. The lieutenant looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper. Kuno is silent. Tap with your fingers gently. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
put your finger in. Your index finger fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage, wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth right into his brain stem. The fuck is happening? Oh shit. Feel around first. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. One enter here is torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again, never wake. Push deeper. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres. The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper. Fucking cavity. Kuno's voice is hushed. Push deeper. Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching towards the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. All the muscles in your body harden. Time to enter him. Wriggle in. Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deep until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin. The pain is barely noticeable under the adrenaline rush. I feel a solid object right under the skull. Can you get to it? He searches his pocket for something. Inspect the skull first. There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it from the inside. The object that is in there stopped just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium. We have the makings of a very small exit wound here. The lieutenant leans closer. Forget about the fucking exit wound, Bino. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet. Fish it out. You pick the object between your index and middle finger. Feels sharp like metal. You press your teeth together, your jaw is clenched. All you need to do is just... I got it. Slowly pull your fingers out. The inside of the head feels cold and smooth like a glove as you pull out. Sweat dripping down your elbow. Carefully not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead. Fucking beautiful. A bullet. The lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it. Drop it in. The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says, "Unknown caliber, rifled. Some kind of brittle alloy, fractured on impact." Keep it, Lieutenant, as a gift. No, you deserve it. We can log it later. Lieutenant drops the bag in your bloody hand. It feels light. He turns to his notebook. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury 4, oval entry wound with an abrasion collar. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity temporary cavity and brain tissue. Small exit wound on the... words I don't know. On the occiput. He underlines the injury forcefully. How does that sound? Say nothing, just nod. Opinion, fatal injury. Agreed. Click, click goes the pen. And one last thing, we should amend injury number 3, ligament mark. New opinion, non-fatal post-mortem treatment. He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death and the hanging in an attempt to conceal this fact. The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment. Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard, all of it was done after the man was already dead. Agreed. He nods. I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. Secret task complete. Find the bullet before you get fooled. I did it good. Oh, nice. There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrator expected we would. No such luck for them. Now, one of the things I've tried to do here is avoid... I don't want to be too skeptical of the injury, of what we know of the injury, because I think we can lead ourselves away from the real information, because you're kind of trying to fight Harry's psyche, as far as I can tell. So by leading Harry to be comfortable with this explanation, hopefully I can make better progress than if I doubt everything. I hope that makes sense. There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged. Maybe the bullet holds more answers. It'd be really it'd be really funny if that was the shot that he missed, but I don't think we hit it in the head. I think we just outright missed. I don't know if playing devil's advocate is a really good idea in this game, so I don't want to do that too much. Maybe the bullet holds more answers. Yes, we should take a close look at it. I'm certain it has more to tell us. This little thing could reveal much more about the weapon that shot it. Okay, maybe they shot him while they hanged him. To put him out of his misery, he thinks? It's possible, but it does not explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time, and this just smacks of treatment to me. I think I need to wash myself. Oh, he nods. You really, really do. I'm glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening. Why would anyone do this? To hide something? The real killer? The motivation? What really happened here? Who would do this? That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier. What happens next? We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my Kinema. The body bag should contain the odour for the duration of the transport. I would drive into processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow, no problem. That was... one more thing. This was really good work, detective. Let's drag him to the Kinema. I've just accepted I'm not doing the boots. Send victim's body pressing. Alright. He takes out a shiny black body bag, starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's face. There go those beautiful enamel boots. You will never own the full set now. May they rest in processing. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs. Let's do it. Day 1. Actually managed to make some progress. And I kept Kitsuragi up super late. I can only apologise, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's way past 11. And I'll keep that one spare. I need to wash myself. Let's look at this thing. Oh, is that a hollow point? It looks like a hollow point.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's in there now. So I'm going to go wash off in the room. I don't have anywhere to stay, so I guess I'm going to stay awake for a long time. And I don't need to refrigerate, which is the most important thing. Oh, hello. Inside you catch a glimpse of Union paraphernalia, a strike poster, some pennants. Interesting. I wonder if I can just use the room without consent. But I do need to clean. They changed the key. God damn it. They changed the lock! Clever bastards. How am I supposed to clean myself off now? Well, I guess we can answer that question. There's a stair lift. Is that a stair lift? Looks like an ancient stair lift, or maybe it's just not. No, it's just a guest decoration, but it used to go up. Anyway, thank you so very much for watching this absolutely ghastly investigation. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye.